how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated on this glorious legacy-driven Thursday night. Again, here on Nerd Affiliated. Welcome to all of you if you're watching. Welcome to all of you if you're listening. That's a new feature we're doing where you can just listen in on different platforms. It's cool. It's great. It's all that fun stuff. I'm pumped. I love having all of you on the show, especially all of you that interact in the chat from week to week basis. But today we have the legendary, the reason the Empire won, the reason that so many in the galaxy has lost. General Kenobis Bunker is in the house today. That came up as a joke with my friend. We were talking about Kenobi, and I was like, that dude really could have stopped all of this many times, but didn't. Sorry, I don't know. Went off on a tangent. If you're new on the show here on HeyArcher Live, we hang out. We pour yourself a drink, we nerd out, we talk about the latest and greatest things. So I hope that all of you can pour yourself just a little bit. Oh yeah, all right. So, as per usual, for the regulars here, and for you who may be new, in the comment section, make sure to interact. We got YouTube, podcast, newsletter, blog, whatever it may be. Put it in the chat. Support one another, because that's what we do here on Nerd Affiliated. Get my shirt ready, because without further ado, we're going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself, General Kenobis Bunker. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello there. How's everybody doing tonight?
I love that. You're always quite on the money
intro, dude. Like that was quite the intro. I don't feel bad at all.
It literally came up the other day. By the way, everybody, I'm trying something different today. I'm not going to have any background music, so let me know if it's weird in this format or not. We'll try it out. But my friend and I were talking about the Kenobi show. And how, as you know, when he lost in the beginning, spoilers, I guess, does it even count as spoilers at this point? I'm not even sure. Anyway,
I mean,
it's so
after 40 years, I think we're good.
Yeah. He loses that first battle. It was obvious he had to win the next battle, but yet obvious that he wasn't going to kill Vader. But in the format that he won, I was like, this dude really could have stopped all of this 3 different times. Did not.
Yep.
But here we are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have to agree with that. Sorry, is my audio cut enough? Is that what they're saying?
Oh, Sal was saying the audio. Maybe it's me. It might be my audio. Sal, let me know. I had some issues the other day. You sound good to me.
Fine, if you guys. Okay, good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Back on track. So definitely, man. I saw this meme actually that made me really think about what Kenobi means, as a character. And it wasn't really meant as a funny thing. It was just meant as a statement, I guess. But it literally said, he lost his master, he lost his beloved, right? The woman
Mm-hmm.
he loved.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his best friend, right? In the worst possible way.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his cause, he lost the order, right? And yet he didn't turn to the dark side, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's part of his strength / flaw, because he is just too hopeful. He really does go above and beyond to see the best in people and the best in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that always work out? Not really, right? I mean, we all know how that turned out. But it does speak volumes to his character, right? Like who he is and what he tries to do for those around him. So like I said, it was like a quick. It wasn't even done well, honestly. It was just a picture of him and text on the side. but it just got to me. I was like, dude, that's so right. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just it makes sense. Like it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if he would have been, slightly better lightsaber fighter, we would not be in this mess.
That's true. And of course, let's say hello to everybody in the chat as we continue.
Oh, did
It's
I lose you
something.
guys?
No, that's me. There's something that's going on with my.
Oh,
I think it's my USB hub. This has been happening lately. It just cuts out, and then the guest is by
oh, really?
themselves.
Yeah, I thought I was
back.
like, all right, taking over. Finally,
It
part
is
of the
your
Nerd
show
Affiliated
now.
family. Yes, sir, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's say what's up, of course, to Paximus in the house, Billy
Hey,
in the house, of course, the legendary Sal, and
of course.
Steve in the house. Good to see all of you.
What's going
keeps
on,
cutting out.
gents?
Sounds like when it's unintentional censorship. Yeah. If anybody else wants to jump in and let me know if it's a universal thing or if it's just Sal, not sure. But Juan Carlos,
Yeah,
good
or
to see you as
is
well.
it both of us? Hey, what's going on, cuz? It's my
Yeah.
cousin right there.
Nice, love that. La Familia.
So yeah, is it both of us? Is it maybe just Archer?
I don't know. We'll
We'll
see what Sal says. But
We'll power through. It's
there you
that it's that imperial censorship, kicking in.
Yeah, I love that. As a reminder, in case anybody forgot, why don't you tell them about the old bunker?
Yeah, for sure. Did we? Does that say 352? Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't even check today.
you got some more.
Awesome.
So
yeah, guys, I have
gotta
a
hit
small
that sound
YouTube
effect
channel.
on me.
Appreciate it. Sorry, it's because I'll tell a story right now after this. So yeah, guys, I have a YouTube channel that's dedicated. Lo and behold, I know it's subtle, but to Star Wars. We do toy hunting, we do toy reviews, we talk about Star Wars stuff. We are trying now to go live more often. And my man right here, HeyArcher, was my first guest on my 1 year channel anniversary, and I much appreciate that. That's on episode 6, I believe. Check it out. So our live sessions are called The High Ground. Try to keep it on brand. So yeah, guys, if you enjoy all things Star Wars, especially the collectibles, the toy hunts, check it out. I would appreciate it, and share it with people you might think would also enjoy it. So sorry, going back to why I was. Well, I'm always happy to get a new subscriber. Don't get me wrong; like that's just a win every day. But I've reached 339 subscribers 4 times, I think, maybe 5 by now. And so I reach 339, I lose 1.
Yeah.
I reach it again, I lose 2. I reach it again, like after a week, and I lose 3 in a single day.
That's hilarious.
And so I was stuck on 339 for like almost 3 weeks, maybe at that point.
Yeah.
So it just got to be frustrating. So when I finally crossed that, I was like, all right, I think I'm on the other side. Like, I think I'm good now. Because yeah, it was just getting kind of crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, it's I hate when that happens, especially when you're hitting like a specific milestone that you were like gunning for, and you hit the milestone, you're like, yeah, and then and you're like, God damn it.
Exactly. Yeah, especially when you already downloaded like the little TubeBuddy, notification that says, yeah, you got, I don't know, you got 300 subscribers, right? Oh, by the way, if you check right now, it's 298. I'm like, come on.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
So before we proceed, I will have to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Nerd Affiliated. Oh, look at that. That's us. Make sure you head over to nerdaffiliated.com. You'll find links to all the latest videos, the latest clips, the latest podcast. Wow. Episodes.
Oh, man, I thought we were doing something new.
Yeah. Over there. And of course, you can hit up the store link at the top. Get some cool stuff outside of the advertisement that's currently showing on the screen.
Yeah, right. I was like, wow, you expanded, man.
Oh, yeah. Doing furniture now, too. Why not?
Hey, why not, right? Gotta expand that brand.
I'm trying to get that Google AdSense. That's where that's coming from.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, what's
Yeah,
been going
guys,
on?
make sure you check out Nerd Affiliated. They got some really cool stuff. I've purchased from them. Not trying to plug, but they do some really good high quality stuff. So go check them out.
I appreciate that. So yeah, tell us what's been going on with you. What's new? Any new hunting videos coming down the pipe? Looking forward to anything? What's going on there?
Yeah, so actually, I did a quick little toy hunt yesterday. I just went real quick to pick up something at Target,
Mhm.
and I stopped by. And spoiler alert, just because I love you guys so much, um, right there on the end cap for Star Wars at Target,
Yeah.
there was a Cassian Andor Black Series figure, but the OG one,
Oh
the
wow.
one from 2016. The
Yeah.
red box,
Yeah.
just casually sitting there.
That's
Uh,
wild.
so yeah, that freaked out. I mean, that thing, like I said, that thing was originally on PEX 5 years ago at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so the box was rough, of course. And I mean, I grabbed it just to, I was like, is this even in the system? Sure enough, it scanned just fine. 1999, to which I said no, thank you. But it was just, it was just wild to find it. Just I have this, like, I put together a story in my head, that's more entertaining than probably what really happened. Uh,
No, that's
that somebody had the inside track 5 years ago that there was going to be an Andor show. They just happened to went to that Target,
yeah.
and they hid it in like a clothes hamper,
Yeah.
for the past like 7 years. And then somebody finally bought that clothes hamper at that particular Target, and lo and behold, right, they decided to put it out.
I mean, I love that. That works for me. I mean, I was gonna say it's probably Diego Luna who did that, the star of the show, if I had to guess.
Imagine he just goes to random like Targets and hides some figures. I was
Yeah.
like, this, I know what's coming. I know what's coming, guys.
Yeah. Well,
Soon,
that
soon, and he just tucks them away.
that was the interesting part, right? Like when Rogue One came out, which by the way, to all of you, I forgot about this until the general here reminded me on his live stream this week. Um, they're doing a re-release of Rogue One in theaters, and I believe it was like just before the movie came out. I think it was like a last minute like advertisement or whatever, but it it dropped that all the stars in the movie had signed multi-year deals. So everybody was like, "Oh, well, obviously they're going to live through the movie and have more shows and all that stuff." Psych, off to everybody at the
Yeah,
end of the movie. So everybody was like, "Wow, well played, Disney." But then, long behold, we have the TV show coming out. So yeah, maybe it was him because he knew.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm super happy that he's getting the opportunity to reprise the role. I think he did a good job, and
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about it before. But I'll just say that I do hope they keep the sort of the dark, nitty gritty,
Oh yeah,
theme going for his character. I think that's gonna be now. I'm not expecting that right off the get go, to be honest, because I know they got a world build. They got to build up the character. He's got to start off pretty innocent, and
right,
then we'll slowly see what happened to him, right? To
right.
to end up kind of messed up like he was in Rogue One. Um, but yeah, man, it's interesting you say that because I was just thinking the other day about cameos, right? I mean, at Rogue One specific cameos, like the team, right? Like the Rogue One team. Like, is anybody just gonna show up in an alley while he's trying to buy, fruit at a
Mm-hmm.
market, and you see Chirrut Imwe like trying to fill up what's the best fruit because he's blind.
Yeah,
Um, and that's it. Like, they won't exchange words, but it's just they're there,
yeah.
something like that, right? So, which I'm all for. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think they're well within their rights to do it. But like you said, I mean, those guys still have contracts for Disney, right? For Star Wars. So why
Mm-hmm.
not, right? Why not bring him in?
Yeah, no, for sure. And just to make sure I address the question from Steve, actually from New York City, I have Hudson Whiskey, New York. I saw
Ooh,
it and I was like, I gotta represent the hometown. Why not?
yeah, nice.
Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, even to Sal's point here, best Star Wars movie in 20 years. Um, a shocker that I saw the other day that I did not expect. People are starting to come around on Solo. People are starting to say that Solo was like undeservingly bashed, which maybe you and I had kind of briefly talked about that before, but I was like, wow,
Right.
like the masses are starting to do this similar to the Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogy. Like people are turning around to Solo. So, do you want to remind the audience of what your thoughts are on Solo?
Sure. So, Solo was, how can I say it? To me, it was the wrong move at the wrong time. Okay.
Mm,
Um, I think Solo would have worked a lot better a little bit later. All right, within the planned
mm-hmm.
Disney movie, rollout, which we know basically got axed right after that.
Right.
Aside from the actual saga, them trying to patch something up and finish it. Uh, but the movie itself, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It had a lot of action. Yes, of course, I would have liked to see a little bit more character development on some of them,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones that we did get, I thought it was fine. Uh, just like anybody else, like I little bit, how can I say it? It was a little. I bumped into the idea that it was a random imperial, guard that just told him, "Oh yeah, your name is Solo now,"
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
you're alone, right? But the flip side of the coin is that Spanish exists in a galaxy far, far away. So there's that, right?
Mm,
Um, but story wise, I liked it. I I thought Eldrin did a good job. I think the characters there were front and center were just fine. Kira was an interesting character. I know they've done a lot more with her in the comic books, and I think that's that she was deserving of that. Like I would have wanted to see that development in another movie, of course, but
mm-hmm.
at least they didn't bury the characters. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, you got the possibility for spoilers, Darth Maul, right? And we know what he was up to around that period. So I was excited to see more of that, of course, like everybody else. Which, by the way, I think we still might. We got good opportunities coming for that timeline. Andor, being one of them. Bad Batch being another one. So we're playing a lot in that episode, 3, 4, in betweens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's prime real estate for all these kind of stories.
Yeah.
So overall, I enjoyed Solo. I think the action was good. I think the actors were fine. The story was, they had very distinct landmarks that they needed to hit. Okay, otherwise, you know, nobody was gonna buy it, right? Like nobody
Yeah.
was gonna think that this was Solo. So
Right.
Lando had to be there, Chewbacca had to be there, the Falcon had to be there, the Kessel Run had to be there. So I understand all of that, and it's kind of hard, for a writer. I would think I'm not a writer by no means. If you've seen any of my videos, but it's gotta be hard to
Well played. Well played.
to yeah, it's gotta be hard to have all of this like incremental milestones, like every 2, 3 pages of the script that you have to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much they could have played around with, right? Like deviate one way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because those are landmarks, right, for the character and for the saga. Some of them. Uh, so I don't, by no means do I think that was an easy job for them. I
Yeah.
think they did the best they could at the time, and I think the movie was harshly received more than it needed to. So yes, I am glad. Not that long ago, the um, what was it called? The hashtag for Han Solo 2 basically
Right.
was getting some traction. So yeah, if we get another one, by all means, I bring all those guys back. I think they did a terrific job with what they were given. And like I said, it is always hard to sell a Star Wars movie that basically has no lightsaber fights,
Right.
right? Um, that's always going to be a tough sell. So again, I think it was fine for what it was, and if I have to vote, then yeah, absolutely, I would want to see them again.
Yeah. It it's almost like a actually I just thought of it. It reminds me of Predator. Predator.
Yeah. So, oh, did we lose you again? All right, guys, welcome to General Kenobis Bunker.
I tell
I'm
you.
just kidding.
I don't know what is going on with my thing right now. Apologies, everybody. We just watched Predator the other day, and the movie itself is like two movies in one. You have the beginning part where Arnold and his boys wrecking house, saving the day, raiding the village, doing all that fun stuff. Cool 80s action movie. And then the second movie, they go from being the predators to being the prey. And it works very well. You forget about it. You know, you just kind of proceed. In Solo, I felt like that happens too. Like the beginning of the movie, so campy, everything's on the nose, and then all of a sudden there's like a turn, and you're like, oh, there's like a decent movie in here somewhere. Like it's there. It's hard,
Right.
but it's there. And I wonder how much of that changed. Because was it Ron Howard that finished it? I want to say it was like Ron Howard that jumped in.
Yes, at the end. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And it's because they were like, oh, we want it to be more lighthearted and all that, or bright, I guess. And
Yeah,
it ruined it. I think, but who knows? Who
yeah.
knows
I
what he
mean,
changed?
we've and it's funny you mentioned that because, well, not funny like haha funny, just funny curious. Because we basically got the same treatment on Justice League, right? And I know you guys have covered this, at length on your channel. Um, but that was the bottom line, right? We need this to be a little bit more lighthearted and funny and stuff. And look what we got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, now we got the Snyder cut, which is which is good that we got it. And I'm not saying it's perfect,
Right.
but it does represent a little bit more of the vision, right? That at least what was back then. Um, yeah, exactly, Sal. So it's funny you say that because I only started playing Old Republic maybe about 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
after what, like 10, 12 years that the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually went with a trooper just because I was like, at any lobby that I would go in, it's all Jedi, it's all,
Yeah.
Force wielders, it's all like, I'm like, man, where are the grunts,
Yeah.
where are the soldiers, where are the foot soldiers, where are the yeah, the guys in the trenches, right?
Yep.
So I actually went with a trooper, for my character, believe it or not. um, but yeah, so I've always been curious. They kept saying that the movie was pretty much finished. Going back to Solo, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and that but by the time that Ron Howard came in, uh, it still took like several months to get it done. And some people, I remember back then, saying that it was like a 70% reshoot,
Yep.
which, I mean, that's a whole other movie, right?
Yep.
So I was always curious to see what the original product would have looked like. And maybe one day, maybe uh, release the release the OG Solo cut. We'll gain traction, and we'll get to see it. But yeah, to your point, it was baffling to me because we had just gotten Rogue One, right? Which again is an amazing Star Wars movie. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, whoa, like, is this what Disney's gonna do? Like, is this what we can expect for the next 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
And then Solo comes out 2 years later and kills everything, right? I mean,
Well,
projects are slashed.
it was on the tail of Last Jedi.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what I meant about bad timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because anything anything aside from like a 2 hour, Vader massacring soldiers,
Yep.
rebel soldiers, cut,
Yeah.
was doomed to fail, right?
Yeah.
Just because the hate levels were off the charts. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, people will turn to the dark side left and right
I
on
did. I
on
did
Star
too.
Wars because
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, I don't blame anybody for going that way. I mean, I walked the path, as well, but um, it like I said, it was just bad timing for Solo. I think more than anything. If that movie would have come out, let's say after the saga was done, um, I think we would have received it a lot better. Because we're like, you know what, we're done with the Skywalkers. Let's just focus on this guy. This is fresh. This is new. Let's see what this takes us, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, I am done with the whole thing. I don't care what they show me. I don't want it.
Yep. Well, one of the major reshoots. I like how this turned into a solo podcast.
Yeah.
One of the major reshoots apparently was Michael K. White, which I had to, or Williams, which I couldn't remember his name. So I was like the wire actor with the scar. Um,
Oh yeah.
he was the original villain in the movie, and then ran into scheduling conflicts, and then had to change it. But I think he already was shooting a lot of it. Like I think that
Yep.
was already a done deal for the most part. And then, because of reshooting the whole movie, ran into that conflict of
Yep.
time. He had other obligations. He was out. The other actor comes in, who I don't even remember his name, but very forgettable villain because they had to essentially
Yeah. Well,
nix
Paul
out so
Bettany.
much. Yep.
Yeah, which I feel bad for Paul Bettany, by the way, because I feel that he keeps getting like, just like you said, like forgettable roles, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he's a fine actor on his own. The one that stuck the most, of course, has been Vision, and that's just because he's more of a recurring, character, not necessarily because they go deep on the lore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that third image from the top, that was one of my favorite images right there. You
Yep.
see that Mandalorian armor in the
Mm-hmm.
back. Um, and so that, well, for context, guys, this is when we still didn't know we were going to get a Mandalorian show.
Right.
So anything and everything Mandalorian, I've always been a fan. No, I'm not a hipster. I'm just letting you know. And so that was one of my favorite touches, right, of his office.
Yeah.
But anyway, so not to fault, Paul Bettany again, like you said, it was just a bad hand that he was dealt. I think he did okay with what he had. I mean, of course, he's overshadowed by Kira. He's way overshadowed by Maul. Um, so it's just yeah. So Priest, I was actually gonna bring up Priest because I'm actually a big fan of that movie, uh, and it did horrible,
Yeah.
right? And I enjoyed it. I actually rewatch it like every 2-3 years. It is one of my how do you call it? One of my go tos. When I'm working on something and I just want like something to be on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy the movie. So, and he did another one. I'm trying to remember. It was also something sci-fi related around that time, and it just didn't. Oh, you know what? Where he was an angel, I think he was an archangel,
That
and he
wasn't
comes
Priest.
to the no priest. He is he's a priest. Spoiler,
Yeah.
but he's a vampire hunter.
I'm looking
But
on
there's
the.
this other one. There's this other one, and he's the archangel that rebelled
Oh,
against God
Legion.
because there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, that one. And I
I
want to
actually
say it's
confuse these movies. Wow. That's why.
yeah. So because I was gonna say because I don't want to lie to you, but I think they might have come out like the same year or very close to each other. And again, I actually enjoyed both of them quite a bit. And like I said, so I regard him like I guess more higher than other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then yeah, like they did horrible, in the box office and critics and stuff. So
Yeah.
nothing came out. Well, actually, I take that back. I was gonna say nothing came out of them, but that one in specifically, Legion, actually had a sci-fi channel show that was half decent. It was a continuation of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, right. I mean, yeah, Legion, exactly. Yeah, I enjoyed those movies a lot, and so yeah, I just feel that Paul was on a bad on a bad streak, I guess. Michael, yeah, that's correct.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name, but yeah.
It some people just keep getting that bad hand when it comes to some of these roles, and it's like
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then people say, "Oh, they're just bad actors." They're really not. It's just a string of bad characters, right, or bad character writing, and they sometimes they just got to chew the scenery with what they got, and there's not a whole lot that they can do to salvage it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, I actually again I enjoyed those movies. It's to me sad because I know we're never gonna see a sequel or anything like that.
Mm.
And I
You
thought they
never. I
were
mean, you never know.
original movies.
I mean, like, and
Yeah,
again, everybody, I'm sorry. Like, my thing keeps cutting out. You never know because you might like Constantine right now is back in conversation. Like, Keanu's gotten so popular
yes,
the last couple of years that like they're actually like talking about getting Constantine 2 out.
yeah, yeah. remind me, how far or are you watching Sandman?
No, no, I think I'm the only one in the group
Okay.
not watching Sandman, but I hear it's amazing.
Okay. Yes. So I'm not done with it.
Hmm.
I'm about halfway, I would say. But I have been enjoying each episode a little more than the last, like, and it's been surprising to me. And it's surprising. I think you guys touched on it on your last episode on the podcast that
Hmm.
uh, it's not getting a lot of buzz,
No.
and I feel that in general the community complains a lot, of course, because the adaptations are not faithful or are not done right. And I feel this is actually the exception to all of that. And I would want to see everybody talk about it because that's what everybody says they want, right? In
Hmm.
general.
Hmm.
Um, but again, I've talked to people who know the source material. I don't. By no means am I a Neil Gaiman expert. Um, and they're like blown away by like how close some of this stuff is. And so I'm like, well, why is that not on every that was why is that not on the everyday talk, right? They're just kind of like, yeah, it's good, watch it, and that's it. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, guys, like we need to blow this up a little bit more, right? Because we always complain about crappy adaptations. Why can't we lift up the ones that are done right?
I think because it depends, and I know this thing's gonna cut out right when I get into the middle of thought, but it depends on what it is, right? Sandman's very niche. Like,
It
not
is.
every comic book reader went through Sandman. Like that's a very niche market. Similar to Moon Knight. Like I feel like Moon Knight, after it was done, people started to talk about it. Like even me watching it,
Right.
I was like, this is kind of rough. Like I'm not fully getting into it, but then the finale I really enjoyed. And then there's
Yeah.
that other one that
Same
was
here.
on FX, the guy who had the multiple personalities. Um,
Oh yeah.
was that
Happy?
Legion
No.
too? Was that also named Legion? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, the one that deals with the
Split personalities.
yes, with the oh man, I'm blanking out.
I'm gonna look it
Isn't
up
he
real quick.
the son of Professor Xavier?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
At least in one of those realities, at least.
Uh huh. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I did not watch it, but I heard,
Yeah,
I
here it
heard it was
is.
doing good. Like the yes, there you go.
Yeah, I knew a lot of people who said it was actually really good, but
Nice.
split personality stuff already, I feel like is usually an issue. But Sandman, Legion, they're so niche that like sometimes the average person.
Yes, what you were saying. Just kidding. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. These are definitely niche books, and don't get me wrong, I am super excited that they're covering some of this niche work, right? Because
Mhm.
well, I think if we're being realistic, I think they're sort of running out of you know
Yeah.
the more widely known, right?
Yep.
Which is something I always said about Watchmen, the movie. It's also one of those. It reminded me when I was talking about Solo. It's also one of those that I feel was out of time.
Mm.
That it came a little bit too early for what it was. Because if we would have gotten hit with a Watchmen movie, let's say 5 years ago, when the height of Marvel was, you know, undeniable, I think it would have hit in a way different. Um, it would have had a lot more impact than what it did back then.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, it's like going back to what you said. Timing's everything. You got to be right
Yeah,
place, right time. I'm still waiting for Savage Dragon live action. That's what I want. If you remember that.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, took a drink at the wrong time.
Yeah. I tell you, I feel like it's my USB thing here. Like it's like shorting out, and I could tell when
Uh
it's
oh.
coming because I have my Stream Deck over here where I control, when the intro outro plays and all that stuff, and the Stream Deck cuts out, and then I got like 3 seconds, and I already start to and if I unplug the hub and plug it back in, that's where I come back in. I try to like beat it. I try to like plug back in, just to do it. Um,
Yeah,
Patrick brings a good point. Did you actually watch the Watchmen TV show by any chance?
I did. I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Aaron Waller loved it too.
That Yes, so that yeah, you're right. You're right. I think I started listening to him around that time.
Hmm.
Um, that I mean, I'll be honest with you that that first episode was like un, I don't even know how to say it, but it had so many levels of impact.
Mm.
Of people just learning of what actually happened on that day, right, in real life. I remember people, praising the writers, like, "Oh man, this story is like so messed up," and they're like, "Yeah, this is like from history."
Yeah.
Like this actually happened.
This
We
was
just,
real life.
yeah, exactly. This was real life. Like, just Googled it, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Oh my god, like, why did I not know about this?" Right?
Hmm.
Um, besides that, right, I think the characters were really good. It's got a nice plot twist.
Hmm.
Uh, I didn't care much for the how do you call it, for the, I guess, for the main character,
Protagonist.
until maybe like, yeah, until maybe like I'd say maybe around episode 3, I started to come around, right,
Hmm.
on her, of everything that, she was sort of like a nexus, right, of different things going on.
Right.
Her lineage, her husband, obviously, and just her position in society, like all of that, right? Like I started looking at her in a different way
Hmm.
after some of that stuff started to surface.
Hmm.
But yes, I really enjoyed it. I know that at least at the time they said that it was sort of like a limited run, right? Like it was a one season and done type of deal, because they felt they had a really strong story to tell, and they told it, and that was it. But I mean, it's one of those that I'm like, you know what, I'm okay with that, but at the same time, I kind of want more because
Yeah.
we always want more, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like, to your point, like when you guys were talking about Young Justice, it's one of those that I'm like, well, I know this is good, and should we risk it, to get another season that kind of washes away the goodness of the first one? Do we risk leaving it or getting canceled because nobody liked it, and it just goes down as one of those shows that was, it had an awesome first season, and then they extended it, and then it went to crap, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm leaning more towards leave it alone. It was really good, and let's just, there's other properties out there, right?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it I think when it first dropped, they were unsure, and then yeah, it was like somewhere in there as it was going, they were like, oh, like it's getting canceled, and it's like, and people,
Yeah.
like, I remember Aaron Waller in his streams or in his reviews, he was like, hope they don't cancel it. It's getting good. It's getting good. It's getting good. Ending happens. I somewhat remember parts of his review, but not enough that it would ruin, I think, watching the show. And
Yeah.
I definitely want to go back and give that a shot. But I mean, the Young Justice thing. I mean,
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Young Justice is an animated show about the team that is put together from the, what would you call them, from the sidekicks, I guess, right?
the sidekicks.
Um,
Yep.
so there's, yeah, so there's sort of the not quite Teen Titans, right? Because they're a lot more aligned with the Justice League activities, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, and so the first season I loved. It covers the team when they're still young. You got is it Team Drake's Robin? I'm
It's
blanking out right now.
not the first one. The first one's actually Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson, you're right. They started
Hmm.
off with Dick Grayson, and then in season 2 they moved him up to Nightwing, right?
Yep.
Which I thought was a little bit fast, uh, but it was fine. And then remind me, did it get canceled the first time after season 2 or during
It
season
was
2?
season two. So season two, that's when comes out. They're like, no more season, no more show. And at that point, season two ends, and then Tim Drake is introduced, and
Yeah,
Nightwing is introduced. So it's like they all got
right.
older, new characters came in, Dunzo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, so they bring it back, right, for a season 3. Is it what, season 3 and 4? I
After
guess
we
was under
begged
contract.
for it, we begged
Yes.
on Twitter for that forever
Yeah, yeah.
and
I was
butchered
actually
it.
on that boat. Yeah, and then so it's like it was like lobotomized,
Yeah,
right? It was just bad.
yeah.
So to the point where again I was listening to the nerd affiliated podcast yesterday, I think, and you guys were touching up on it. If you haven't, go check it out. It's a really good episode. They cover quite a bit of DC news, and these guys are very knowledgeable, very eloquent, handsome, everything. They got the whole package. So they, when you guys were saying about the news came out, and I did see that there will be no season 5,
Yeah,
right? Young Justice, and I was like, season 5. I was like, was there a season 4?
yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
whoops.
It didn't even get
And
any. It got
so
no marketing. Season 4.
no, no, I mean, at least the what is it, season 1 for sure, but season 2, I think I saw more toys on the aisle, on the pegs about him, and then nothing. I mean, uh, season 3 and apparently 4 came and went, and I don't think I saw anything related to that.
Yeah. No, and season. I mean, season 3 at that point has none of the OG characters really, except Miss
Right,
Martian, Superboy
Miss
sometimes,
Martian.
and then season
Yeah, in
4,
and
it's
out.
none of them, and you're like,
Wow.
it reminds me of Chronicles of Narnia, like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I watched a video essay one time where the person said that he thinks it didn't do as well as Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings because every book and every movie you change out the characters. Like characters get too old,
Yeah.
they get taken out, new characters come in. And with Young Justice, it's like it was cool seeing them age, and now they went from teenage problems to adult problems. And then it's just new team, and you're like, I want more of that stuff. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I enjoyed it. The some of the relationship with the I guess with the A-listers, right? Like,
Right.
Superboy with Superman, of course, Batman,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, right? Like some of those interactions were pretty good on the first seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sort of started coming into their own, right? Which I
Yeah.
thought was done really well
Mm-hmm.
because if I remember correctly, those first episodes, it's pretty like they do come out quite a bit, the Justice League or some of the Justice League's members, and then they introduce all the characters, all the sidekicks, and then they just kind of go off on their own.
Right.
And every so often, the Justice League pops up for a crossover or for when they're kidnapped or not kidnapped. Sorry, they're what is it? Randall Savage controls their mind, something like
He
that. And
does mind
so
control on the Justice League. Yeah.
right, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so that the team has to step up to clear their names, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that dynamic was good, right? Not overdone, but you can have all these quote unquote sidekicks, right, without mentioning the main guys.
Mm-hmm.
Which was some of my problems with Teen Titans at the beginning.
Mm.
And now as I got older, I understand, licensing and all that
Licensing.
stuff, that it couldn't really be done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as more of a kid, when I started watching, I'm like, well, there's Robin. Why can't he even say, Batcave, right? Like he couldn't even like he
Yeah.
couldn't even reference a Batarang for that
But
matter.
and what was dope about even Teen Titans was that show brought in new characters like as it continued, and you cared about the new characters because you had the original characters there as well. Like I always think of Moss and Menos. Like, do you remember it was like the
Yeah,
twins and they had super speed when they touch hands. Like so
that's
so
right.
cool
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
character, two characters, and
yeah.
like I would love to see Mossy Menos in other things, but they didn't
Right.
overshadow the Teen Titans. And I mean, if they did,
No, no.
keep going, but they were there alongside, and Cyborg, making Cyborg cool for once because he was alongside characters that you
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and so I thought, to the point of Young Justice, I thought they were doing a good job with that. Um, on the yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Hmm.
Know your craft. Um, and then, like you said, they just kind of butchered it. So yeah, I'm on team. It's good. It's not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will watch, season 4 just because,
Good luck.
it's out there. It
Good luck.
exists. But yeah, but I was gonna say I said the same thing about Titans, the
Oh.
real life, the live action. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
blanking out. The live action one, and yeah, that has still yet to happen.
I mean, it's been said a couple times on different episodes, but I'll remind everybody. I am grateful for Titans for one thing. Aaron, and this is when it should cut out, right when I'm about to say it. But Aaron Waller and I met because of Titans. Like, we were both doing reviews episode by episode, and I forget which one of us did it, but we looked up on YouTube like other people reviewing it, and it's like nobody. It's just
I was gonna say, God bless you guys, because you are doing the Lord's work right there.
Yeah,
that is unsung heroes right there.
Yeah, and there was another friend of mine. I haven't seen him in forever. This guy Jeffrey. We did a video. We did a 2-parter where I was on his show for part of a discussion, and then went to my show, and his show was on. I think it was Discord, and I had no idea what Discord was at that point. Like I still don't fully get Discord, but I was on his Discord.
I still don't know.
Yeah, but it was. He was the only other person I knew, and then Anthony would watch it, and then years later I meet all of you guys. But God bless Aaron Waller. He's reviewed that show start to finish, and not even finished because it's coming back for another season. I don't know how.
Is it really? Are you kidding me? Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. Everything else gets canceled. Titans.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything else. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
That's astonishing to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm gonna lose internet, and that's gonna be the only show that works. So I'll watch it then.
Yeah. When the apocalypse happens, Titans will be the only show that survives.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's like the cockroaches of shows, right? Like, it just won't die.
Yeah. Actually, that title might belong to the Flash at this point, because that show just keeps going. Oh man,
just keeps
season 8 or something, or 9 maybe.
God. Yeah. So during, what was it, last year maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I took it upon myself to finish out Arrow, specifically just Arrow.
Yeah.
Because I loved the show at the beginning, right?
Right.
I want to say maybe, I don't know. To my mind, that second season is fire. Okay, that second season is some of the best DC anything out there.
Yeah. Underrated.
And exactly, heavily underrated. Maybe because we was early in the show run, and it wasn't, it hadn't caught up to mainstream media yet. But that second season, my head's off to those writers. But it quickly devolved, right? It was a gateway for the Flash, which I'd enjoyed the first maybe 2 seasons, I would say, also. And then it became, I guess, obsolete might not be the right word, but it became out of place within its own universe, right? There was nothing more left for Oliver Queen, right, as Arrow, or this Green Arrow to do,
right?
Because now you got these gods running around, right? That could solve his problems in seconds, if not faster, right? And then they started running out of I would say strong villains for him, right? Like Deathstroke was, which I'll be honest with you, that Deathstroke totally ruined Titans Deathstroke for me, because I'm like, this cannot be the same character. There's no way.
Yeah.
But so, like I said, at one point I was on the 3-chapter or 3-episode rotation on I would watch Arrow, I would watch Flash, I would watch Legends of Tomorrow. I dropped Legends of Tomorrow pretty quick, so I stuck with Arrow and Flash, crossovers, cool. Then came in Supergirl, then came in what was the next one? Was it Batgirl at that point? I don't even remember. But the point is that now it's 7 shows or something,
and they've canceled most of them. Most of them are gone.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, and so I know that I knew, of course, even back then, that Arrow had actually finished, right? And so, out of respect for what that show was at one point, I decided to go back and finish it out. But I gotta be honest with you, it was rough. It was
It was that,
it took some willpower.
That Rouge One, I think that's season 3. Was like,
I think
peak.
So.
Like whatever season it was that he died, and it was like, that was the season finale. Like he's on the mountain in the snow and falls off the cliff, and then
Yeah.
the show like that was. I think that was it. Lenny actually the biggest Arrow fan I know. Like I've never met anybody
Oh, really? Okay.
that loved it as much as he did. And he watches it straight through week by week. And even I think he says that's. I think it was the Deathstroke one that he even agrees to. He's like, that's the best one. Or she was here to say, but yeah, I've never heard it put that way like you did, and that's so spot on. Like the intro. Oh, look at that! He just showed up. The introduction.
There you go.
The introduction of the other heroes almost nerfed out Arrow. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and and he had his Obi-Wan moments, right, when he would, come back and be like impart some wisdom.
Mhm.
But then he would go back to his show and not do what he said to the other guys. So I'm like, it's almost like it's two different characters, right?
Mhm.
You need the moral compass or the moral booster for the rest of the heroes, but yet on his show he's about to slit his own throat, right?
Yeah.
Because everything's going wrong for him.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I don't know, I couldn't keep up with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I finished it out just out of respect, and so I was like, yeah, I'm done. But I know the Flash I think it's wrapping up also, right? Or I really hope it is.
I think they
but
announced that it will be the final season, the one that's coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Norecraft. The first seasons were incredible, and I know they were really good because my parents got hooked on it.
Wow.
and that is saying a lot. If my dad actually sits down and watches something on TV like serialized,
Yeah.
that's a good show. Like that, no doubts about it. I don't care what it's about. I will watch it because I know it's a good show.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap the episode, and by the way, when we finish this episode, head over to Nerdgenic. Aaron Waller is doing a She-Hulk watch party. Link is down in the description. I'm not going to talk about She-Hulk, but you potentially, if I remember,
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, you're good. You don't have to watch it. Did you watch Dragon Ball Superheroes?
Ooh, I did. Just this past weekend.
I took Lenny today to see it. His first time watching Dragon Ball anything.
Oh, really? That is quite the introduction.
Yeah.
Because, well, are we going to talk about it? Can we do?
We'll do spoiler free. In case anybody in the chat.
All right.
I think everybody in the chat who's interested in it has seen it from random conversations.
Okay, so spoiler free. Then in the movie, it deals with a lot of stuff that happened in the original Dragon Ball, show or manga, right? Whichever way you want to look at it. And so what I was gonna say is, if that's your first anything Dragon Ball, that's like the one story that actually has quite a bit of background.
It's all fan service
to know, right? Yeah, exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. That was one of the things that I enjoyed the way they did it in the movie. Visually, I liked it. I like that they refreshed some of those scenes, but yet they kept the style to the original. So I actually did enjoy that. Actually, I'll ask first. What did you think of it overall?
Sorry. I've said this only one other time, I think, in this world that we live in of podcasting and content. You have to see it in theaters. You have to see this in theaters. I was telling Lenny the last time, the only reason I went this time to see it in theaters was the last time I went to go watch Dragon Ball Super Broly. And I showed up and I was like, the theater's full. Like because it doesn't show everywhere. So I went like opening weekend. I was like bored or something. And I was like, oh man, I was like, this place is jammed. People everywhere. People were talking through the trailers. I'm like, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck. And everybody in the theater was turned up the entire Broly movie. And I was like, this is amazing. This is the only time I'm cool with people yelling, like people like screaming out, like Piccolo shows up, like, oh shit, Piccolo. Like I was cool with all that.
Exactly.
And this
Yeah,
movie, I wish I was there with a full theater. Like I've not
yeah,
said that all
I
COVID,
see
but I
that.
was like just the hype of when all the characters do their things, people show
Yeah,
up, and again, this is spoiler free, but it's just straight up fan service. Like it's Top
yeah,
Gun.
oh yeah,
Top Gun was fan service by like playing music and all that stuff. This movie is a one over 10,000.
exactly. There you go. That's a good reference right there. And yes, so try to see it if you're gonna see it in theaters, and if that's something that interests you. I do recommend watch it in the biggest screen that you can.
Yeah,
Okay, visually, it's very nice.
we saw it in IMAX.
It is. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Why you gotta flex like that on me? But that's fine. Uh, so visually, yes, I really like the way it looks. The animation, they did some new stuff. That you can tell they were trying out some stuff.
I didn't
For the
care for it
most
at
part, I liked
first,
it.
and then I forgot. I forgot about
Yeah,
it like 10 minutes in.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Exactly. I have a very yeah, definitely the Broly one. I'm trying to remember if I saw it in theaters. I don't think I did, and I should have. Um, I so what I was gonna say is in terms of the animation, I still have a bad, you know, like ill will towards it because of Berserk, and
Mm,
I don't know if you've ever seen
yeah,
that anime or
yeah.
attempt at anime for
Hmm.
the new version. That I mean, the story is amazing. That's one of my favorite stories in anime like ever. And the animation just killed it. Like I
Yeah.
just could not get past
It's
it.
that like
I
3D style
it's
anime thing.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like it's like if the guy has only like five bones in his body, and like he can only move three art like joints in his whole body. Like it just looks odd.
Yeah.
It's not right. And it's not that old that you would say, well, it was one of the first ones, or it was attempting
No.
something new. Not really. Like it's from like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's really not that old.
You're talking about the one that was on
Anyway,
Netflix, right?
so the one on Netflix, I think so. I know they had the movies, and those were not as bad as the actual show, like the recurring show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the movies, I think they started doing it, but I think there's still a little bit of traditional animation in there. So they looked okay. I'm not gonna say they looked awesome, but they looked okay. But when compared to that TV show, to
Right.
that the continuation of the main
Main story.
story, I guess. Yeah, man. I mean, I know we watched it around the same time, but yeah, no, I could not, and I watched all of it because, like I said, it's one of my favorite stories out there, like ever. And so when I first started watching, to your point, Dragon Ball, I was like, oof, I was like, please no,
Yeah.
please no,
Yeah.
and no, it by no means was it the same, like at all, day and night. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like you said, it is straight up fan service, but I think they did it in the right way. Story
1,000%.
wise, yeah, story wise, I don't think it's gonna blow anybody's mind.
No.
To what happens. I feel the story was more of a transport of a device, to get everybody to watch to see what they wanted to see. Um, so it's kind of one of those. They're like, hey, just enjoy the ride, all right?
Yeah.
It looks good, it's fun. Take it for what it is, and you'll have a good time for sure.
I was telling Lenny to watch because he was like, I'm not gonna watch the whole series of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. So I was like, just watch the movies. I'm like, I literally, as a kid, all I had was the movies, and
Oh
movie
yeah,
number 7 was my first one that I saw
oh,
Super Saiyans, and I was like,
yeah.
what? Like,
What
because
are
I only
these?
knew,
Yeah.
yeah, I only knew Dragon Ball Z like the TV shows up to when Goku arrives on Namek because it always stopped there.
Ooh, okay.
And
Yeah.
you would see like in the trailer him going Super Saiyan, but I remember going and seeing the VHS cover, and it was Vegeta, Goku, and Trunks Super Saiyan. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
and I always say that's a great entry point movie because it's like 40 minutes, and they give you like 5 minutes of story. You get the idea, fight for the rest of the rest of the whole movie.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
the speaking of the animation, right? That one was done beautifully too. I think that's around the when they were peaking in terms of like traditional animation for the
Mm-hmm.
show,
Mm-hmm.
and for the movies for that matter. And they started throwing in like little sprinkles of new effects here and there,
Yep.
so it looked really good. And like you said, it's straight up, here's this guy, and this is why he's gonna fight these two dudes, and
Hmm.
then some other dudes might join, and that's about it. Go at it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, like it was super fun. I do recommend for people out there, if you know a little bit right about Dragon Ball Z and you're thinking about Super, which is the next show, right, which is technically where this movie comes from. I would say the Black Goku saga. Uh, that story honestly was way better than it needed to be.
Hmm.
Uh, don't get me wrong, I was all in just because Dragon Ball was coming back and new characters and stuff like that. But after I was done with that arc, I was like, I this is way better than required, for this show.
Hmm.
Uh, so there's time travel, there's a little bit of things that plot twists and things like that, and I just thought it was done really good.
Yeah.
Like again, especially for a Dragon Ball, story arc.
And it was great because
But
they
yeah,
didn't do they didn't do the tournament stuff, which they did after. But it was the first
yes,
time in a long
exactly,
time there was like no tournament type. This person's here, and you gotta send your 5 bet. Like none of that.
exactly. And it was one of those that you're like, you know what, these dudes might not win.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like straight up, I don't know how they win. Like I don't see it. And if again, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who has not watched it,
Yeah.
but
By the
it's
way,
not the classical,
just now he was talking about the Black Goku saga.
yeah. Um, and so he they again, I don't want to spoil anything, but they don't win in the traditional way they always won, right? Which is by like sheer willpower and being that last power up at the end, right? Like they don't necessarily win that way. So that's
Hmm.
something that I was a bit surprised to see,
Hmm.
that they did hit a how can I say it? They did have a limit on their fighting strength at
Right.
some point, right? Which is something that usually they power through and they another upgrade or another power up, etc. But this one was a little bit different. So again, long-winded way of saying go check it out if you want to see some good Dragon Ball. I think that arc is really good. Yeah, so the OG Broly movie is like it's definitely good. Um, I still enjoy a lot of that fight and of that story. I like that they kept basically the same feeling or spirit of the story on for the new one for the super version. So I was all in. It was basically a like an update, right, or a remake kind of thing. So I enjoyed it a lot. I thought they did a good job for it. Yeah, Goku
Uh,
Black, seriously.
okay, I'm
Um,
back. My thing actually was
yeah.
not turning
Hey.
back on. I was like,
Uh
"What?
oh.
Don't do
Uh
that."
oh. Is that
uh,
my music from the Oscars that tells me to wrap
yeah,
it up?
yeah. You know what? I legit just ended the show on my own. I was like, I'm done. And I just let you
Yeah, I'm done.
keep
Yeah,
going. Yeah,
that just exactly. Let it. He'll figure it out at some
yeah.
point.
Um. Well, yeah. Oh, by the way, just to answer that question, did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
I watched the dub actually,
Oh, okay.
and on Dragon Ball specifically, I it's about the only ones that I'll try to see dubbed. Um, and that's not to crap on the dubbing industry out there. It's just I was always as a kid, and growing up, you would always get like the bootleg, movies and
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and those were usually in the OG Japanese, right? And you
Yep.
were lucky if they were subtitles to them. Sometimes you had to find them out there and try to pair them up. Uh, but so I never got into the dub, stuff until later on. Um, but to say that is the dub has come a long way,
Yep.
uh, lately, like for sure. And yeah, there you go, exactly. Yeah, we went to see it together, the dub one. Um, but yeah, so that's not to say, hey guys, don't never watch it dubbed or anything like that. There are very few animes that I will seek out in Japanese just because they're from my childhood or they're from when I started getting more into anime. So the characters sound a specific way in my mind.
Yeah.
right? But again, that's not necessarily to say that, oh, I hate dub, I will never, watch anything dub. But no, by no means. It's just like I said, it back then, at least, in the early days of this new technology called the internet,
Hmm.
all you could get were, like sub stuff.
Yeah. The only
How about
anime.
you? Did you guys watch it dub?
No, we watched it sub. That was my. I was like, I have to see it that way because to me, Dragon Ball Z is a show I watch only subbed, and it was kind of hard in IMAX because the screen's so big. Like you really have to like up
Yeah.
and down. But oh, sorry. Um, the one anime I only watch dub for some odd reason, Full Metal Alchemist. My
Oh,
favorite.
really?
That's my favorite anime outside Dragon Ball Z. I'm actually getting a tattoo
Yeah.
in the next couple weeks, and I only watch it dubbed. For some reason that those are the voices that stay in my head. I
Nice.
thought it was
I
just
gotta
so
check
good.
it out. I think I saw the original one dubbed and the Brotherhood. I think I saw
Brotherhood,
it subbed, if I remember correctly.
love Brotherhood.
Yeah, no, Brotherhood is in my top, I would say, two,
Yeah.
honestly, of rewatchable
Yes.
animes. And
Yeah.
I mean that like the entire thing. And
Yeah.
that's very hard for me to do. I don't care like what it is. Even Dragon Ball, I won't go back and watch the whole thing. Um, I think, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is it might literally be my top one that I can just rewatch from, all, what is it, all 52 episodes or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is,
Mm-hmm.
uh, without a problem.
Yeah.
That may be Death Note up to a certain point, um, and Lelouch of the Rebellion. I just saw that like beginning of the year again, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
Um, I saw that Netflix started putting out the new live action movie for Full Metal Alchemist, the one about Scar. But after that first one, yeah, I don't know,
No
man.
way. I can't
Yeah,
do it. Can't
I
do it.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that I'm like, I'm gonna lose a dare or something, and then they're gonna make me
Have to watch
watch it.
it. Yeah.
But yeah,
uh, well, sir, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. You may be officially the first person to host Hey Archer Live because I cut out so many
hey,
times. It was mostly you
well,
running the show.
no, no, by no means. Thank you so much for having me, especially on my own. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, guy, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the invite, and yeah, I hope that I get to invite you back onto the high ground. I'm working on getting better at it. Still kind of clunky, and I gotta get, like I said, I gotta get a lot more consistent at it. So, but it's definitely one thing I want to do. I had a blast when you were on. Uh, it is literally the longest show I've ever done. I think we went two and change hours.
Yeah.
And it's right there
Yeah.
down the middle. That's two. Yeah, what is that? Two and change, right? So that's the episode where my man Archer and I just we had a blast on it.
Yeah.
So thanks so much again for inviting me, for letting me take the reins on the show.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
No,
Uh,
I appreciate you being on, and I appreciate you just in general. Oh, by the
no,
way,
man, thank you so much.
plug your shit. I'm sorry, I didn't even let you officially. You said high ground, but what?
Oh no,
Plug all your stuff.
sure. So yeah, again, guys, I have a YouTube channel called General Kenobis Bunker. We do toy hunts, we do toy reviews, unboxings. We talk about lightsabers, helmets. I got a couple helmets actually that I got to review because the boxes are just there. And so we talk about Star Wars. We have a live show now called The High Ground. We try to do it every Wednesday around 8 p.m. Central. So we would love it if you guys join and go check out the channel. We do have some cool stuff in the works. I'm working on a shorter format unboxing and reviews because I kind of want to, compress them down to like 5 minutes or less. Some of this stuff, I feel that sometimes I was extending myself too much without proper, reason to. So I'm trying to be, more efficient at my videos. So go check it out. And I would appreciate it if you guys share the content with people you think might enjoy it. I'm actually trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of this year. I think we're going to do it. I think we're on our way. And so again, I would appreciate it. There's also the Instagram named likewise General.Kenobis.Bunker. And I would appreciate it if you follow me there. I try to be a lot more active there. That's where I, post stuff on the news, post when there's a new video, stuff that I picked up, all of that kind of stuff. So go give me a follow. And last one, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you go follow me on TikTok.
Yes.
We actually just passed 5,500 followers.
That's
so
wild.
That is insane. I'm still not entirely sure how that happened. But I would appreciate it, guys, if you go check me out there. And just check out the stuff. And there you go. So I'm trying to get better at it. I post more often. There is some cool stuff there. There is that one TikTok that hit, I think, already 1.5 million, which
wild.
Again is just insane. And again, I'm not 100% sure how it happened, but appreciate, I would really appreciate it, guys, if you check out my stuff. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for having me again, and it was super fun. So
I can't beat that. So we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Cheers to you, sir. First time somebody else hosted the show.
Cheers.
We'll see all of you next week, Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. Peace. I don't even know what button to push.
I'm going to hold the post. There we go.
House